Hello dear students, this is Dr. Shahid Amin. I'm going to discuss a topic namely forms of business organization. Dear friends, there is not just a single form of business, rather as an entrepreneur, a business enterprise can be owned and organized in several forms. Each form of business organization has its own merits and demerits. Friends, the right choice of the form of business is very crucial because it determines the power, control, risk and responsibility of the entrepreneur. Friends, being a long term commitment, the choice of the form of business should be made after considerable thought and deliberations. Dear students, we know that there are three important sectors of the economy. There is a private sector, there is a public sector, and there is cooperative sector. Friends, the private sector is the part of country's economic system that is run by individuals and companies rather than the government. Most private sector organizations are run with the intention of making profit. Dear students, some of the businesses in the private sector include, we'll discuss them one by one. First, we'll discuss sole proprietorship. Friends, a sole proprietorship is the oldest and the most common form of business. It is a one-man organization where a single individual owns, manages and controls the business. The firm has no legal existence separate from its owner. The liability of the proprietor is limited, that is, it extends beyond the capital invested in the firm. Friends, the advantages of sole proprietorship is ease of formation. You can get maximum incentive for your work. You can have the secrecy of your business. You can take quick decisions in your business. But on the other side, the disadvantage part is limited capital. There is a limited managerial ability. There is limited life. That is, once the sole proprietor dies, business also dies. And one more important disadvantage is its unlimited liability. Dear friends, next important concept in the private sector is one person company. This new concept of one person company was introduced by the Companies Act 2013. One person company is a hybrid of sole proprietorship and the company form of business and has been provided with the concessional relaxed requirements under the Act. Important characteristic of one person company is that the liability of this kind of venture is limited. Friends, there can be only one shareholder with the one person company. The shareholder shall nominate another person who shall become the shareholder in case of death in capacity of the original shareholder. One person company must have a minimum of one director. The sole shareholder can himself be the sole director. The company may have a maximum number of 15 directors. Friends, next important form of business is partnership. Partnership is defined as a relationship between two or more persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business carried on by all of them or any of them acting for all. The owners of a partnership business are individually known as partners and collectively as a firm. A partnership is easy to form as no cumbersome legal formalities are involved. Its registration is also not essential. However, if the firm is not registered, it will be deprived of certain legal benefits. Dear friends, under Companies Act 2013, the maximum number of persons partners in any association partnership may be up to such number as may be prescribed but not exceeding 100. Friends, a partnership is formed by an agreement which may be either written or oral. When the written agreement is duly stamped and registered, it is known as partnership deed. Ordinarily, the rights, duties, and liabilities of partners are laid down in the deed. Dear students, next important concept in the private sector is private limited company. A private limited company is a voluntary association of not less than 2 and not more than 200 members, whose liability is limited and the transfer of whose shares is limited to its members, and who is not allowed to invite the general public to subscribe to its shares or debentures. Friends, the advantages of private limited company is its continuity of existence. There is limited liability and there are less legal restrictions as compared to public limited company. Some of the disadvantages of private limited company include that its shares are not freely transferable. It is not allowed to invite public to subscribe to its shares, and there can be undemocratic control, that is major shareholders will have more say in the decision making. Friends, some of the types of private limited company may include company limited by shares. In that form of business, the liability of the members is limited by memorandum of association to the nominal amount of his/her share or so much which remains unpaid. Another form can be company limited by guarantee. In that case, the liability of the members is limited to the amount of liability undertaken by each of the members in the memorandum of association. Friends, a private limited company limited by guarantee is suitable for non-government organizations, clubs, trade associations, societies, and for entities that require very minimal capital or working capital funds. But most of the private limited companies may be found company limited by shares. Friends, another important form of business is public limited company. The public limited company has a separate legal existence apart from its members who compose it with limited liability. Its formation, working, and its winding up, in fact, all its activities are strictly governed by laws, rules, and regulations. A company must have a minimum of 7 members, but there is no limit as regards the maximum number. Friends, public limited company collects its capital by the sale of its shares, and those who buy the shares are called the members. The amount so collected is called the share capital, and the shares of a company are freely transferable, and that too without the prior consent of other shareholders or without subsequent notice to the company. Friends, in case of public limited company, the shareholders do not have the right to participate in day-to-day management of the business of a company. This ensures separation of ownership from management. Rather, the power of the decision making in a company is vested in the board of directors, and all policy decisions are taken at the board level by the majority rule. This ensures a unity of direction in the management. Friends, now we'll be discussing public sector. Public sector means the government sector. The government owned organizations are termed as public sector undertakings in India, PSUs. In a PSU, majority, that is 51% or more of the paid up share capital is held by central government or by any state government, or partly by the central governments and partly by one or more state governments. Some of the public sector companies in India may include IOCL, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, NTPC, BPCL, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation of India Limited, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, Steel Authority of India, Bharat Highway Electricals Limited, and so on. Friends, next important sector is cooperative sector. The International Cooperative Alliance defines a cooperative as an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their common economic, social, and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. Friends, some of the cooperatives may include non-profit community organizations. A consumer cooperative can be there, worker cooperatives can be there, housing cooperatives, credit cooperatives, producer cooperatives, marketing cooperatives are some of the examples of the cooperatives. Dear students, the basic feature which differentiates the cooperatives from other form of business ownership is that its primary motive is service to its members rather than making profits. Now we'll look at some of the good examples of cooperatives. Yes, Omul is there, which is a very renowned brand in India. It has earned name and fame. So far Amul is concerned, it has more than 3.6 million milk producing members. Well, another good example of cooperative is Mumbai Dabawala. There is an army of 5,000 Dabawalas who fulfill the hunger of almost 2 lakh Mumbaikar with home cooked food that is lugged between home and office daily. Friends, another good example of cooperative is, it is a worker cooperative, Lijjat Papad. Well, it has 81 branches and 27 divisions in different states all over India, and it started with 7 sisters from one building, and now it has over 43,000 sisters throughout India, which make it a success. Friends, another form of business option is franchise. Friends, there are three important concepts. Franchise, it is an agreement. A franchisee is one who takes the license, and a franchisor is one who gives the license. Well, a business idea is licensed to the franchisee. The owners of the brand receive a license fee, and the franchisee gains the right to use the business brand. Well, some of the examples of franchises are like McDonald's is there, Domino's is there, fitness clubs like VLCC, they run on the franchise model. Dear students, when it comes to starting your own business, you may consider buying a franchise as an easy way to make a success. While this could be correct, not all franchises are the same and not everyone is cut out to be a franchisee. We must understand the advantages and disadvantages of owning a franchise. Well, the advantage part is you are more likely to succeed because you are buying an established idea or brand that has already proved to be successful. Another important advantage can be when you buy a franchise, you get all the equipment, supplies, and training you need to start the franchise. Well, uh, you may have the franchisor buying power. That is, your franchise will have the benefit of lower cost due to the bulk buying opportunity and the benefits available to the franchisor that would be passed on you as a franchisee. But on the other side, the disadvantages of owning a franchise may be you may have the minimal flexibility because once you buy a franchise, you have to do it the franchisor's way. That is, there is not much room for you to make your own decisions. Another disadvantage can be other than your initial joining costs, there can be the franchise fees that you have to pay to the franchisor on a monthly basis. This is usually based on a percentage of your franchise turnover. Then you have to be very careful of buying a lesser known franchise. Just because a business is offering franchise opportunity doesn't mean there is any guarantee that the franchise you buy will be successful. There are many franchises out there and everyone wants a piece of a pie. So, before you will decide on owning a franchise, you need to understand the advantages and disadvantages and do kind of cost benefit analysis and then only go ahead with your decision. Friends, uh, another important form of business is a non-profit company. Well, you must have understanding of what is non-profit making company. It is a company which has in its objects the promotion of commerce, art, science, sports, education, research, social welfare, religion, charity, protection of environment, or any such other object. For a non-profit company, it has to intend to apply its profits, if any, or other income in promoting its objects. This form of uh, organization intends to prohibit the payment of any dividend to its members. Friends, those were the different forms of business organizations. For any queries, you can feel free to contact me. My mobile number is given, and you can drop an email on shahid.bhat@itmuniversity.ac.in. Thank you. God bless you.